The Iron Gate. The Iron Gate 1 and Iron Gate 2 hydropower and navigation systems are among the largest in Europe. Their purpose was to utilize the considerable hydropower potential and improve the conditions for navigation in the formerly very dangerous section of the Danube. The HPS Iron Gate 1 and Iron Gate 2 are comprised of main structures. At the 943rd kilometer, Iron Gate 1, and the 862.8th kilometer of the Danube River, Iron Gate 2, each including 2 navigation locks, an earthen non-overflow dam, 2 hydroelectric power plants, an overflow concrete gravity dam, and other facilities. 2 reservoirs. The reservoir of the Iron Gate 2 HPP extends to the upstream dam at 943 kilometers, while the backwater of the Iron Gate 1 HPP spreads 310 kilometers on the Danube, 100 kilometers on the Sava, and 60 kilometers on the Tisa River. The Iron Gate system generated considerable modifications of the natural river regime and raised a number of questions concerning water management decisions, such as the reduced sediment transport capacity, followed by sediment deposition, the raising of the groundwater table that endangered many communities and industrial, municipal, and transportation facilities, as well as agricultural production in the riparian belt, the inadequacy of the existing flood control structures, the decrease of the ice transport capacity at the end of the backwater zone, and so on. Over more than 30 years of system operation, most of the initially recognized water management problems were addressed by comprehensive protection works and measures, comprising 370 kilometers of new reconstructed levees, 50 kilometers of new revetments, drainage systems covering 1,350 kilometers, with 900-kilometer-long canals, 1,200 artesian drainage wells, 60 pumping stations, and protection of communities and industrial zones. Regular monitoring and the study of environmental impacts started after impoundment in order to ensure prompt remedial measures whenever necessary and obtain data for analyses of possible adjustments to the HPP operating modes. It was explained in 1978 when experts of the Jaroslav Černý Institute developed a multidisciplinary and very complex program for the monitoring, measurement, and analysis of Iron Gate 1 reservoir impacts. In 1985, a very similar monitoring program was instituted for the Iron Gate 2 reservoir. For each program, the types and scope of investigations were initially defined, but in the course of their implementation, many adjustments and modifications were made. Program is composed of 9 sub-programs for the monitoring of river flow and backwater levels, groundwater levels and drainage system operation, sediment regime and deposition, ice regime, agricultural land preservation measures, forests and wetlands, flood control structures, quality of water and sediment, and riverbank and landslide stability and consequences for the social situation as well as the environment. The monitoring is still ongoing.